Hi, Dr. Reagan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
And it's been absolutely fantastic. And it's total marketing. It's from doing scripts for radio to videos for TV, videos for your website. We build the websites. We do social media, podcasting. We do all of it. And what we found is that's awesome. Because now we're helping the docs be in more control of what it is they're doing.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Bruce B. Baird, and you're listening to the Productive Dentist Podcast. In this podcast, I will give you everything that I've learned over the last 40 years in dentistry, working with thousands of dentists. I'll tell you, it's not that my way is the only way. It's just one that has worked extremely well for me, and I'd love to share that with you so you too can enjoy the choices and lifestyle that productivity allows. More time for things you love, increased pay, better team relationships, and lowered stress. Let's get into it with this week's episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.
Hi, this is Dr. Bruce Baird with Productive Dentist Podcast. And today I'm going to talk I'm going to be a little bit self-serving today for the next two podcasts. I'm going to talk about Productive Dentist Academy and our philosophy, because I have tons of questions coming in about what about this, what about that, what do you guys do, how do you help us grow our practice? And so initially I'm going to talk about what Productive Dentist Academy does, and then in the next podcast I'm going to talk about the newly formed Lampa Dental Group and what is that, why should it interest me, and those types of things. So right now, Productive Dentist Academy, and we talk about it. We've been around 19 years. My partner, Victoria Peterson, and I have been, we've evolved. PDA started 19 years ago with myself and 8 doctors in a room over in Dallas. And I was talking, and the reason I wanted to do it with doctors was because I believe, right or wrong, the buck stops here. And most problems in a dental practice aren't your team. It's not your advisors. It's us. It's what's going on between our ears. We have, we've never been taught business. We've never, we start to grow a great business and all of a sudden it becomes $1 million operation. And we've never owned a business like that. So we have to learn those things. So PDA began with just 8 docs. And these were all friends. They knew I was very productive and they wanted to know how I did that. And so I actually charged my buddies a fee and I told them, hey guys, here's the deal. It's going to cost $3,000 for 3 days. And I will write you a check back. If it's a lousy course, I'll write the check back. And they all laughed and they paid and we did it. And they said, great course, unbelievable. I learned so much. And I was very thankful. Over 19 years, I've learned as much from the dentists who come to PDA as I think I teach. And I think that's a plus. We say that PDA is member built and driven. So when 16 years ago, the dentists that were coming to our programs were saying, I want to bring my team to this program. And I was a little hesitant. Victoria came on board and said, I told her, if you can build a team program, then we'll be great. Let's do it. Because I understand you want your team to be on the same page as you, and maybe we can help that. So we built a team program, and dentists started coming. They would bring, we've had people bring as many as 15 of their entire team. And usually people will ask, well, how many should I bring to PDA? I said, just the ones you want to keep. So and you might think, oh gosh, to spend 15, 20,000 plus airfare and everything to go to a seminar, that just doesn't make much sense. But what if I increased your production per hour by $100 an hour in the first 2 months or first month? Well, $100 an hour over a year, you're looking at about $180,000 worth of return. So spending 30 to get 180, that's a 6-to-1 return. But that's not where it stops, because over that year and a half, 2 years, you're going to be over $300 an hour increase, which is a $500,000 a year added revenue to your practice. So that's where PDA was. And then people started saying, well, can you come in our office and work with our team individually with coaches? We had no coaches. And this is, again, 14 years ago. And we said, Victoria and I talked and said, I don't want to do that. I'm not traveling. She goes, I'm not traveling. We're both pretty well retired as far as not in practice. I mean, I was still practicing, but I was retired in practice. I was still making great money, and I wasn't sure. But we decided, you know what? We're member built and driven, and we established a coaching organization. When I say we, Victoria established. She'd already been involved in coaching, and she put together one of the most amazing coaching groups that I think that have ever been put together. Part of my philosophy of coaching, and I'd had 9 different coaches over the years, but my philosophy of coaching is I don't want to have somebody that, for instance, was a hygienist come in and evaluate my whole office. I don't want somebody who was a front desk come in and evaluate my whole office. Instead, what I wanted was a coaching team that had multiple people as a part of it, had a front. When I like it to a football team. They have a quarterback coach. They have a backfield coach. They have, tight ends. They have defensive line. They have coaches for everything. And I wanted specific people who have expertise in those areas to become our coaches. And when you hire us as your coach, we bring in everybody. Now, what I will say is we have a head coach. They come in and look at your business and say, okay, you really need this, this, and this. And we've got the people available to come in and help with that. We're increasing your business by $300 to $500,000. I look at that by productivity per hour. We're going to grow your productivity per hour. And so by saying we're going to grow you 300, that's $500,000. We grow you 600, that's $1 million. We've had offices that come in at 800,000, and 4 years later, they're at $3.5 million, $4 million. We bring coaching in, they do that. And so it's been a very successful endeavor for Productive Dentist Academy, but we didn't want to do it. It was our members that said, we want you to come in. And I was like, great, let's do it. And when I say let's do it, Victoria did it. I'd still be lecturing to 8 dentists in a room because I love working with dentists. I like getting in their heads. So then we go a little farther down the road, and this is probably 8 years ago, and can't remember exactly, but we were sending people because we believe in a budget at PDA. What I will tell you is we'll work with you so that you know exactly what you're going to make in the month of February or the month of March. You're going to know exactly what you're going to make the day you start the month. The day you start the month, because we believe in setting goals that are attainable. We believe in budget to actual, meaning every single line item of expenditures in your business, we want to make sure we have account for. And so we would send people, and we believe in a marketing budget of 8%. Most of the dentists that come to PDA, and that's, if you go back and listen to previous podcasts, marketing net zero marketing, it's the philosophy of an 8% marketing budget. We increase your productivity, your collections, and it drives down your fixed expenses. So the problem is we would send to a marketing company and we'd send to another marketing company, and they would they'd sell them, hard sell them, $100,000 marketing package for the next year. Well, that's in no way within their budget. And they weren't really consulting us along those lines. And so people started coming to us and saying, well, why don't you guys do a marketing? Why don't you guys do marketing program? And Victoria has a degree in marketing, so we started a marketing program of which now we have, I think, total with coaching and everything else, we're closing in on 50 employees. And it's been absolutely fantastic. And it's total marketing. It's from doing scripts for radio to videos for TV, videos for your website. We build the websites. We do social media, podcasting. We do all of it. And what we found is that's awesome, because now we're helping the docs be in more control of what it is they're doing. And what's happened since then, so now we're in the 8 years later, and after I sold to Heartland, it was pretty controversial in the PDA community. They said, "Why on earth did you sell?" I said, "Well, I was closing in on 60. I had a practice doing $5 million a year. Jeff Buski and I were partners, and why would I sell? Well, I had a bunch of buddies that were selling. I didn't even know what EBITDA was, but I knew that they waved $5 million in front of me, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of money. And that's what's happening today. And I have insight into that. You wave a lot of money, you don't look at the details, and I didn't. If I'd have sold my practice today, instead of getting $5 million, I'd be getting $20 million. And you go, that's a big mistake. Yeah, it is. And I can pretty well be honest with you about that. I did make great money with Heartland's stock. Their stock continues to grow. They're a great DSO. You won't hear me say anything bad. They didn't try to change anything that I do in my practice. But then again, our practice was, it's a unicorn. We built it to be a unicorn. We built it to be what I would call a model practice. However, was it ever a model practice while I was there? No. It was kind of like my book that I wrote called Legendary Leadership. Am I a legendary leader? No, but I'm working on it. And a model practice, yeah, I'm working on it. I want to be a model practice. I want to do things right. I want to, every system in the office, I wanted to reinvent every system to be better. And that's where compassionate finance came from for financing. That we started, interestingly enough, months after I sold to Heartland. Why? Because I had cash and I could open up another business and start doing that. And then again, 18 months ago, we sold to private equity, KKR, one of the largest private equity groups in the country. So am I disappointed? Would I do it again? I had this question last week when I was in San Antonio on a panel. They go, would you do it again? And I said, on one hand, no. On the other hand, yes. I'm one who doesn't look back. I've made bad decisions, good grief. Business decisions, bad. Yep, I've done it. But what did I learn? I've got buddies that make a bad decision and they're pissed off at everybody else but themselves. Well, when I make a bad decision, it's usually because I made a bad decision. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't do my homework, for whatever reason. And, I hope this resonates with you guys because none of us know everything. We just don't. I don't know anything about private equity. I didn't know anything about consolidation theory. I didn't know anything about DSOs. I didn't know anything about all that. Today, I still got a lot to learn, but I know quite a bit about it. I know how private equity makes their money. I know how the dentists make their money. I know that there's an opportunity right now that's going to be ongoing for the next 7 to 8, 9 years, that a dentist can create generational wealth while still practicing dentistry as long as they want to, without being micromanaged from a private equity firm who doesn't know sheep shit from cottonseed about dentistry. And you'll see the DSOs that are formed, and some of these DSOs are trying to control what the dentist does. Steer clear, find other people there. And there's some great DSOs out there, dental service organization. That's what a DSO is. So the next podcast, I'm going to talk about Lampa Dental Group because it is part of what we've evolved to. Member built and driven. I'm going to talk about IGP, investment grade practice, and I'm going to talk about Lampa Dental Group on the next one. So hope this has been interesting. Please send me questions to Bruce at Productive Dentist, and I would love to answer more questions from you. So thanks so much, and I look forward to our next.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, make sure you subscribe. Pass it along to a friend. Give us a like on iTunes and Spotify, or drop me an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. Don't forget to check out other podcasts from the Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentistpodcast.com. Join me again next week for another episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.